All right, so we're going to go and look at our book that we've been reading. I hope everybody did y'all get to read the rest of the book of Leopard, Ram, and Jack?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to look at it and go through it, and we're going to pick out what is the biggest or the main things that we need to remember for the story to make sense. There's a lot of times in books they have added details that make it more interesting to read, but it's not necessarily what we need to have to for the story to happen. We want just the biggest things that happen. And this is a long story. We've got page 3 all the way to page, whoops, I went one too far, 14. And what we're going to do is we got to decide what parts are the middle or the beginning, middle, and end. Because we have a paper right here that says beginning, middle, and end. I don't remember, I didn't give you this to print off yet, did I? No, because I want you to help me first, and then I'll tell you what to do on yours, okay? So I got this beginning, middle, and end paper, and you're going to help me figure out what is the biggest things that's in the beginning. And the beginning takes place in pages. We got to look at pages 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, it's a combination of them. And maybe even to 10. We got to figure out what's the main things that happen in those pages. That's the beginning of the story. So let's go to the very beginning. So on this page, where it's, one day Leopard went out hunting. He came upon Ram's house. Leopard was a great hunter, but he had never seen Ram in his life. Leopard was a little afraid of him. He went to Ram and said meekly, "Good day, friend. What might you be?" "I am Ram," said Ram in a gruff voice. "Who are you?" So, if we were to say what's happening in these 2 pages in one sentence, what would you say are the main things happening there? Haper.
So I think the sentence that would be in this one was he went to Ram and said meekly, "Good day, friend. Who might you be?"
Okay, now who's he? When we first are talking about those characters, we have to say their name instead of saying he.
He's gonna be Leopard.
Okay, so Leopard went to Ram's house. Do we even need to know he said that to know what's going on? No. So he went to Ram's house, and when they saw each other, how did Leopard feel about Ram? Hadley, or Haiti, sorry, Haiti.
He felt scared.
He was scared of him. And thinking back when you read the story, even though you don't know it now, how did Ram feel about Leopard? Camden, how did Ram feel about Leopard, knowing what he said to his wife later on? No, don't look at, hey, Camden, it's just me and you. Can't ask for help on this one. When you're with me, it's just us, okay? Think about it. He went to his wife, and what did he say to his wife? What did he think Leopard was wanting him for? Hey, Camden, look at me.
Was he afraid?
He was afraid of him. Even though he acted like he was big and mean, really, he was afraid of them. So wasn't both of them afraid of each other? Yeah. So, Let me see if I can do my switch share without coming back to me. Really, in the beginning, the first thing, that's the main thing, is Leopard went to Ram's house and both were really scared of each other. And the reason they were is because they were thinking each would eat him. Ram thought Leopard would eat him, and Leopard thought Ram would eat him. Remember that? So that's telling what happened first in the story. Now we got one other thing we need to add to this. Let me go back to the story. Okay, we've got to go and see what each of those characters did. Leopard ran away right here. And when he ran away, what did he go do next? Harper?
So Leopard went to Jackal's house and said Leopard said his name was Ram.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here comes Kira. I'm going to let her in. Okay, so Leopard ran to go tell Jackal what had happened, right? And then at the same time, I'm going to skip this one about what he talks to him about and does here. What did Ram go do at the same time? Hadley?
He went to tell his wife, and his wife, well, it's on the next page.
Yeah, just tell me what happens on this page. So what they're doing is they're showing what happened first with Leopard, and then they're telling at the very same time this was happening. So like right here where Leopard's at, he's talking, telling Jackal, and over here at the house, Ram's talking at the same time. They're talking at the same time, but in different places, aren't they? So this page of Ram telling his wife and this page of Leopard telling Jackal's happening at the same time, isn't it? Even though they're different places in the book. Okay? So the next thing that happened, let me go back to what I wrote next on my paper. You tell me if this matches and just does it in one sentence of what's happening on those two pages. Kira, what we're doing is we're going through that story. Did you get to finish reading about the Leopard, Jackal, and Ram story? Kira, did you get to finish reading that book on Raz Kids? I can't hear you, Kira. Did you get to finish reading that book on Raz Kids to the end? You're on mute right now, Kira. Just shake, there you go. Now, did you get to finish reading the story on your own, Kira? Just shake your head, yes or no. Did you finish reading the book? Kira, I can't hear you. You're on mute. You need to take yourself off mute, Kira. Kira, can you hear me? Shake your head, yes or no. Can you hear me? Okay, guys, let me get Kira's mom and see if she can text me. While she's, okay, Kira, can you hear me now, Kira?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you get to finish reading the story, Leopard, Ram, and...
Mhm.
Okay, that's all I need to know. So what we're doing is we're going back and doing a retell of it now, okay? All right, so we're going page by page, and we're looking, so we got the beginning done, so now we're going to look at the middle. In the middle, we're going to look at pages 8 through 12. So I'm going to go back to the book.
Miss Nethery,
Yes, I'm listening while I'm doing it. Go ahead and tell me.
yours is like echoing on ours.
Okay, so why don't you all go on mute, and then when you're ready to tell me something, then you can turn your sound back on. Now, is that sounding better to y'all? Okay, all right. We'll just do that way then. Okay, so I need to go to page 8. I got to move my little windows around because where I see you all, you're covering up where it says page number. Oh, we're on 6. I got to go up to 2 more pages. So when Leopard and Ram went and told, so let's start with one. When Leopard went and told Jackal about being scared of Ram going to eat him, what did Jackal say that they should do? Hadley, tell me what Jackal said that he should do. Remember, you're on mute right now.
Go and eat him tomorrow.
Yeah, but what did he also say that they should do to make sure that Leopard would not run away again? Harper?
They said they would, so that Leopard wouldn't run away. Jackal tied him to her leg.
Uh-huh. And that's very important to know, because if they hadn't have done that, think about what happened at the end of the story. That's kind of funny. Would that have happened if they hadn't have tied their legs together?
No.
No, so it's important that we say something about this because it's an important part of the story later on, okay? Now, let me go to where Ram went and talked to his wife. Here's where he's telling her, and here is what the wife told him to do. Kira, go ahead. Hadley and Harper, go ahead and mute, and then Kira, you unmute. And you tell me, what did Ram's wife tell him he should do?
Ram's wife told Ram to go outside with the baby and pinch the baby and make it cry as if it was hungry.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what she said. I thought that was kind of strange to tell somebody to pinch a baby. To me, that's a little bit mean, don't you think? To pinch a baby to make it cry. But they were doing it to try to save themselves, didn't they? Okay, so those are very important parts of the story. And they happened at the same time. At the time that Jackal was tying themselves together, the wife was given the baby. So this is happening at the same time, just in different settings. So let me go back to sharing on the paper. And this is the beginning of starting in the middle part. Jackal told Leopard that they were going back and tied themselves together to keep Leopard from running away. That's the Jackal part. Then Ram's wife told him to go back outside and take the child and pinch him to make him cry, or to make her cry. I need to fix that, don't I? See? Self-editing. Make her, pinch her to make her cry as if she were hungry. Because they said it was a girl in the story, didn't they? So those are happening in the middle, aren't they? Okay. So let me go, and at the end, we're looking at page 13 and 14, what happens at the end. So let's go to the end of the story. On page 13 and 14. So this is just them coming back, and this is him kind of getting a little scared, but it's not a main thing. The main thing is when they get back to each other. I'm going to read these pages real quick, and then we're going to see how we can put just 2 sentences of what happens on these pages. So Ram saw leopard's fear, and he pinched the child. The child began to cry, and Ram said in a rough voice, "Jackal, you have done well. You have brought us the leopard to eat. You were just in time. My child is crying for food." So is that baby really crying to eat something? No, it's crying because he pinched him. Well, look at the hooves on that ram. If that ram pinched me with those hooves, it hurt me. Well, let's see what happens on that next page. This is the funny part.
Especially if I was
The leopard could stand. He leaped away and began to run, dragging Jackal with him. Leopard ran up and down hills, through bushes, and under rocks. He did not look back until poor Jackal was bruised from head to toe. Okay? So, we got to have 2 sentences, and we got 2 pages. I got to move your faces again. You're covering up my arrows. There we go. What would be one good sentence about what happened on this page? What would be the main thing? Camden, you tell me. What do you think is the biggest thing we need to remember on this page for this story to happen? You're on mute, so don't forget to go off mute when you're ready to tell me. What was the biggest event, the main important thing that we got to know happened on this page? Remember, you're on mute. Okay.
That wasn't only crying to eat.
Well, the fact that the baby was crying is important to know, right? Because if the baby wasn't crying, could Ram pretend he was hungry? No, he needed the baby to cry so that he could pretend he was hungry. All right, so that's important. And how did he make it cry, Camden?
She pinched it.
He pinched it, okay? And then he said, that baby's not crying, the baby's crying because he's hungry. And then because Jackal was tied to leopard, he's pretending he thinks Jackal's bringing leopard on the string for him, on a rope for him to keep. But he really didn't do it, did he? He's doing it to try to keep him from running away. And then, what is the biggest thing, the very last thing that happened in this story? Hadley? Remember, you're on mute.
The biggest thing is that leopard ran away and he didn't look back until poor Jackal was bruised from head to toe.
And what made him run away?
That the ram's words.
What Ram said made him think that he was going to be eaten, and that scared him, didn't it? All right, let's see what I had on there and see if this matches what you've got. Okay, I had put on the end, Ram pinched the child and said she was hungry to make Leopard think she wanted to eat him. Is that what happened on that first page that we did? Bless you. Then I said, that scared Leopard so bad, he leaped away, dragging Jackal behind him until he was bruised from head to toe. That pretty much matches what we said, wasn't it? Okay, so let's take a look at this. We were able to, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in just 6 sentences, retell or tell the biggest parts of what needed to happen in this story. Okay, so when we do that, we can take this and we're going to create a project, and that's what we're going to do next week. Have any of you ever seen what's called graphic novels? You might have and just don't know it. Graphic novels are books. Here's one that's about zombies, but it's a funny one about zombies. And what they are is, instead of having a lot of words, it has little squares. You see how there's different squares here? And the whole square is filled up with a picture. And then it has a little text box. That's called a caption. and it tells what's happening in the picture. And in the characters, when they are saying something, they have a thing called a speech bubble. Have you all ever seen speech bubbles before? Okay. And so that's all it's doing is, it's like a comic book strip thing. You have mainly big pictures, and you have just a sentence or two in boxes telling what's happening. And when the characters are speaking, like in the book that we just read, when the characters are speaking, we saw those quotation marks around them. Well, in a graphic novel, what they say is in speech bubbles. And then there's another thing that is in books that are like this. When the character's thinking something, they're called a thought bubble. I looked in that book and it didn't have thought bubbles, so I kind of made up my own real quick one. This is what our project's kind of going to look like. You're going to put the title of your book, the author, and then you put your name up here. You're going to do it on a computer. You know, remember when we made our animal projects in Camden? I'll help you with this, where you did cut and paste pictures. You're going to do that in here. And then you're going to, the sentences that we did right here, you'll be typing them in the caption box. And if a character's talking, you can get a speech bubble and put a text box in it for what they say. And then you have a thing called a thought bubble, which is like little circles coming from it, and then like a cloud. And that is letting you know as a reader, that's what that character's thinking. They're not saying out loud. That's just what they're thinking in their head. And see, I've got a character here talking, so I got a speech bubble here. And in this one's thinking about something. So he's got a thought bubble, which is the little circles and then like a cloud. And then this has got his mouth wide open. With his mouth wide open, whatever he says, you need to have an exclamation mark. That one's saying, ow. Maybe that ram come and pinched him. And then right here, this one, he's just thinking nice thoughts. So it's a thought bubble. Okay? So we're going to make something like that, taking these sentences here, putting them in the caption, and then you're going to do a picture to represent what is happening in that, okay? And that's what we'll do next week. So, there's nothing I need you to do between now and Tuesday. We're going to continue on where we left off here. Has anybody taken the test on this book yet? No, that's the correct answer. We're not going to be ready for this test until Friday of next week, because all this work that we're doing right here is going to make that test a whole lot easier, okay? All right. So, Hadley, have you got a question? You're on mute again.
So we're not supposed to do this until Tuesday?
No, I mean Monday. Sorry, it's my fault. On Monday when we meet, we'll finish up, get started with this, and I'll have like a seesaw activity where you can access and do this. You remember how you did it with the animal research? I'll make one just like it. Bless you, Kiera. All right. And then I'll even have this, and I'll typed up for you to look at on there. So you'll have that there too. We're going to work on a lot of it together in this class. There is a way that I can get where you can get what we are doing right here on the Zoom on one side of your computer screen, and then your project on Seesaw on the other side. And you could be looking at me, how I'm doing it on this side, and then do it on your side at the same time. You look, I found it on my computer, on my phone. We don't have time today, but I'll try to show it to you on Monday of how to do it. You hit 2 keys on your computer and it'll split it in half. One side will be Zoom and the other side you can make it be your Seesaw where you're working on this project. Okay? All right, has anybody got any questions other than that? So all I need for you to do is to be ready to help me out, get started with this project on Monday. All right? You all have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye. I will see you all later.